What does it mean for something to be conscious? What is it about the nature of reality that allows for something like consciousness to take form? Maybe consciousness is the nature of reality itself. Maybe consciousness and the physical universe are one and the same. If you watch this video, I promise to change your perception on the nature of consciousness, the cosmos, and reality itself. Come with me on a journey to explore the fundamental nature of existence and the relationship between the physical world, consciousness, value, and truth. We have to be careful when we approach the question of consciousness. Our entire view of reality is constructed and filtered by this mysterious phenomenon. Describing reality without consciousness is like trying to take a picture without a camera. It doesn't make sense. There is no picture without a camera to capture it. In the same way, there is no reality without a mind to perceive it. The very definition of what is real breaks down at this level as we come face to face with the very bedrock of our existence. What I have realized in trying to approach consciousness is that there are certain assumptions we take for granted in our understanding of reality based on experience. In our experience, it seems like other people are also conscious and have an internal mind like our own, but there is no way we could prove that. We assume that our scientific understanding applies across all of space and time, but that is not proven. We usually operate under the assumption that humans have the cognitive abilities to construct realistic models for the universe, although quantum mechanics is slowly showing us that our understanding is limited. What if our whole reality is a crazy TV show constructed by some super powerful alien kid bored in his basement because he already watched The Sopranos too many times? Whatever the case may be, there are limitless possibilities for the nature of reality, which would change everything if they were true, from the personal level to the social. But we must assume certain things about reality, although we can't prove or disprove them, in order to move on with our lives. In acknowledging these assumptions, we are presented with certain levels to what it means for something to be true. René Descartes discovered that the primary truth is cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, or I think, therefore I exist, which means basically his own conscious existence is the only thing that he knows without question to be true. So if this is all we know to be true, how can we move forward with the question of consciousness? For one, we need to acknowledge truth as intertwined with value. Value is in many ways primary to existence, as all things exist within hierarchies of value, and all existence is sprouted from these hierarchies. Value is determined based on truth, and truth is used in service to some value. Different systems or hierarchies have a different definition of truth, as I spoke about in my video Cosmos with a K, so check that for clarification here. But basically, science and truth are distinct levels of truth, and interpersonal reality is also a meaningful level of truth. Every form of truth is functional in service towards some value system, and the system is also useful towards discovering more truth. So in discovering the truth about consciousness, we have to accept the scientific reality, yes, but we also have to acknowledge that science has limits, and that the truth is bigger than a purely scientific understanding. With that being said, let's go over some of the existing theories about consciousness. The first and most predominant theory across fields of study today is Integrated Information Theory, or IIT for short. IIT starts from the perspective of an internal consciousness and postulates starting from experience. The 5 core tenets of the theory start with existence, basically acknowledging that something exists. Second is composition, which is that existence and conscious experience are made up of parts, like how an image has multiple different objects, so in this way conscious experience is made up of smaller parts. The next tenet is information, which is how we use consciousness to distinguish and understand our current experience by delineating it from past memories or some comparison. Tenet 4 is integration, Integration is the fact that although experience has composition through parts, it is always consciously experienced as one whole image or sensation. The final tenet is exclusion. This is basically how consciousness is unilevel in the sense that it's not divisible into one level of consciousness experiencing sound and then one which has sight and so forth. So through these 5 tenets, we can theoretically measure to a quantity phi and model consciousness in a system by evaluating how different the unified system is from the sum of its parts and its ability to understand reality. Consciousness is defined by the existence of something called a reentrant architecture. This basically means that in an information system like a brain, there are recurrent parallel neural pathways which are integrated and aligned across different areas and levels, which come together to create a coordinated picture of reality. The continuous cycle of re-entrance creates a flexibility of emotion, attention, and all experience in a way that allows reality to flow through and with time. By integrated information theory, non-human life forms could be conscious and likely are, although more research needs to be done on this reentrant structure in other life forms. Machines which possess this structure would also be conscious, and we could possibly even extend this to a higher level if we evaluate the exchange of information across a society and see that through economics, media, culture, and humanity, there could possibly be a reentrant structure as well, which would indicate a different form of consciousness than anything we've ever imagined. The second idea about consciousness that I want to approach stems from something called Russellian monism. From the mind of the 20th century English polymath Bertrand Russell, this idea is a challenge to the most fundamental nature of the physical world. Russell states that physics can tell us how particles interact through math, but there is no explanation for the intrinsic nature of these particles or of matter. This criticism highlights that physics does not delineate between a mathematical abstraction and the real universe. Stephen Hawking pointed out that we have no idea what, quote, breathes fire into the equations of physics. In a similar way, we have absolutely no concrete understanding on the intrinsic nature of consciousness. Russell believed that the conscious and physical world were distinct, mysterious manifestations of the same primary form. This goes against dualist explanations which present either consciousness or the physical world as real and the other as an illusion. To me, this monism comes into harmony with the idea of the Tao as a primary form which then split into the yin and the yang, each relying on each other for existence. This elegant monist view is commonly connected to the idea of panpsychism. There are many forms of panpsychism across time and culture, but generally the idea is that the mind is fundamental to the universe and that consciousness or something like it is in everything. That is not necessarily to say that a brick is conscious, but that the stuff that makes up the brick has a mind-like element inherent to its existence, and that this is what allows for consciousness to form out of order. Evidence towards this connection between consciousness and fundamental reality comes from one of the most forefront areas of modern physics, quantum mechanics. It has been discovered that the observation of quantum wave functions by people has the effect of collapsing the wave function in such a way that a particle's properties must become apparent to us through the conscious act of observation. If you want a specific example of this or more information on this, I'll leave a link to a video on a thought experiment called Schrodinger's cat, proposed in 1935. This idea does provide a non-falsifiable explanation for reality in such a way that doesn't necessarily contradict the integrated information theory, and if anything, IIT does not provide an explanation for consciousness to the same depth that Russellian monism does. So IIT could give an explanation for how consciousness happens, while Russellian monism tells us what exists to allow consciousness to happen. I am not sure if we will ever have a complete understanding of the nature of consciousness. In all likelihood, probably not, because to understand consciousness is to understand reality, and all we could ever really know is I think, therefore I am. Nonetheless, we must discover some proto-understanding of reality, even on the most fundamental and unknowable level, in order to establish value for ourselves in the cosmos, as value is justified from truth, and truth is established in harmony with value. The best way to unify truth and value in this way would be through something called holarchies. Holarchies are hierarchies of holons. Holons are scientifically real systems which are made up of smaller parts and also exist as a part of a larger holon. So it occupies the place of a whole, like a cell is a whole, but it is also a part, like a cell is a part of a tissue and then an organ and so on. The most fundamental parts of any holarchy are particles, which, when scientifically defined, have no intrinsic value or essence. But by playing a part in a holarchy which can take the form of consciousness, these particles do have an intrinsic value. So consciousness, which is primary to all existence, necessitates the essence of these particles in a way that can allow for the conscious systems described by integrated information theory to take form and become conscious. Consciousness, value, truth, and the physical world all come together in the form of holarchies. So in this way, consciousness is the fundamental driving force of matter towards order through holarchies by systems like evolution, which I described in my video Evolution, Beauty, and Consciousness. And in realizing this, the cosmos can serve an ultimate purpose by recognizing the proto-reality of monism, similar to the Tao, or absolute unity, and then working and organizing itself towards balancing and extending the conscious and physical manifestations of the primary reality, similar to the yin and the yang. We as humans are blessed with the ability to understand reality in this way, and can intentionally promote and maintain the balance between the physical and the conscious realms. This way, we can have our cake and eat it too. We can scientifically confront the mysterious nature of consciousness while walking forward with purpose and expanding consciousness as a primary source of value for all existence. To learn more about the cosmos, holarchies, this ultimate unity and purpose, click the link to my video Cosmos with a K. To see and develop a deep understanding about value, reality, and much more, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, comment, and share. As always, never stop questioning, talking, and thinking. Thank you.